Hey beautiful people, thank you so much for clicking on this video and taking time out of your day to hear my sister's story. I appreciate it so much, you don't even know, and I want to say thank you from my family as well. I know they want to get as much coverage on this case as possible. So, I'm creating this channel in honor of my sister. So, her name is Jessie Grace Moore, but she went by Grace. So, every missing persons video I'm going to cover on this channel, I'm going to do a dedication for her before. So, Grace, this is for you. Before I get into her disappearance, I want to talk about my sister as a person. My sister was a beautiful, beautiful human being. She would give the clothes off her back to anyone who needed it. She really had a heart of gold, and she cared so much and so deeply about people, and it's just such a shame that she's gone and we don't have any answers. So, a little bit more about her. She was very childlike, like she had the spirit of a child, very youthful, very fun-loving. She was a great person, there's really no other way to put it. And I saw my mom yesterday and I said, I'm trying to put all this stuff together to describe Jessie. How would you describe her? And my mom said, that's funny you should ask. I sat down and I started writing down descriptors for her, and this is what I came up with. So there's a front and a back side. So I couldn't possibly describe my sister in a matter of minutes. As most people, she was complex. She had a lot of layers, and it's truly crazy that she's gone. And I want to keep the integrity of my sister in everything that I do and be as respectful as possible, but I feel like I can't tell her disappearance without talking about what led up to it. So that's what I'm going to get into kind of right now. So Jessie and I are 2 years and 4 days apart. So my birthday's August 24th, 94, and her birthday's August 28th, 98. Virgos, hey. And as little as I can remember, you guys, so she was about 5, like she had just gone into kindergarten when we were living on the west side in Bremerton, which is close to Seattle. So on her first day of kindergarten, she was riding the school bus to school, and the principal, whoever, called my mom, and I remember vividly like being with my mom and her getting this phone call, and they're like, Jessie mooned someone on the bus. Like, she mooned kids on the bus, and so my mom had to like go deal with that, and that was kind of the beginning of her behavioral issues. She was always, it seemed, in trouble for something. The school was always calling my mom about something, and it was just crazy all the time, you guys. Like the constant pull, like my mom being taken away from us kids to have to go deal with Jessie. And Jessie is my only blood sibling, and I have other step siblings and stuff, but she is my only blood sibling. And so, and I'm not trying to paint Jessie in a bad light by talking about her issues and her behavioral issues. I'm just trying to say that a lot of people can relate to that when there is a young kid in your life that kind of has like those social issues, those behavioral issues, and acts out a lot, and no one knows how to quite handle it. I mean, there are like guidebooks, but you're kind of on your own, and my mom didn't know how to handle it, you guys. She did her absolute best, but it was so much on us. And it was like, my mom said the day she got pregnant with my sister, the day she conceived my sister, I know, kind of gross, issues right away. Just tough pregnancy, like just dealing with her, the in and out of school, of talking to principals, like just having issues with other kids. And like I said, I'm not trying to paint her in a bad light at all, because I want to honor her memory and show as much respect to her as possible, but I'm just trying to paint a picture for you guys. So when Jessie was 6, she was put on medication. She was diagnosed with ADHD and ODD. So she was put on medication around 6 or 7, I want to say, and then was later as an adult diagnosed with bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, severe depression, and suicidal tendencies. So we kind of dealt with all those issues of her being in trouble in school, her acting out, And then when she was 11, the big catalyst kind of happened because she was sexually abused. And I didn't feel comfortable talking about this, but my mom said it's important to mention that yes, this did happen to her, and it explains a lot of, you know, the use of blank. You guys can fill that in later on in life. So she was abused by her boyfriend's mom, and his mom actually went to prison for it and is a registered sex offender. So then shortly after that, my sister went to juvie for the first time when she was 11 years old, and she was actually the youngest person to ever go to our juvenile facility in the place that we live. So, I mean, it's just interesting to note, to think of an 11-year-old going to juvie. She was in 5th grade, and just to be dealing with everything she was dealing with. Jumping forward a little bit, so from the ages of 13 to 17, she was in and out of juvenile facilities, and then was actually sent away to a correctional facility. So that's like prison for youth offenders, pretty much. And she spent a total of, I believe, 18 months in between. She went to the same facility twice, and then a different facility another time. So she was sent away 3 times. And you guys, when she would come back, it was like we would all be so anxious and have to get locks for our doors, lock everything up, because she would steal from us, pawn our stuff. She would, I mean, when she came back one time, she actually stole a car. So she had a grand theft auto charge before her 18th birthday. So it was pretty hectic all the time in our household when she would come around. And when she was 18, like on her, I think the summer of her 18th birthday, she actually got married. So just right away, as soon as she turned 18. And if anyone knows anything about borderline personality disorder, you get attached to people of the opposite sex, or the people that, you know, you're attracted to, very quickly. And she kind of got hung up with this guy and married him. And later that year, I think when she turned 19, she had my nephew, my oldest nephew. And she was using when she was pregnant with him. And I'm not trying to paint her in a bad light at all, you guys. I just think it's all so important to know, and a lot of people can relate to this story. A lot of people have that in their life, a person that, you know, slips up, or just, it doesn't seem like they can do right. And she did get her act together, and I'm going to get into that in a minute. So she had my nephew at, I think, 19, I'm pretty sure, and then she has him at the hospital, right? And CPS shows up, and they told my mom, we know she's been using through such and such resources. We're going to take him, and he's going to go straight into foster care, or you're going to have to take him. And my mom was like, I'll be damned if my grandson goes into foster care. Like, no, he's coming home with me. And my mom has had him ever since. So my sister has never had custody of him, and he's 8 now. So and then when she was, I want to say 20, she got pregnant again, and actually went into premature labor with her daughter, Kaylin, and ended up losing the baby. So my niece was alive for a minute and actually passed away, which was really, really hard on her. I know anyone who's lost a baby, it's the hardest thing in the world. Like, I can't imagine. And that was so hard on her. I mean, it's hard on anybody. It really, and she was not using when she was pregnant with my niece. I just want to make that clear. She wasn't using, and she lost her, and we had a proper funeral for her and everything. And then when she was 21, she had my youngest nephew, and I'm not going to use their names because I know some people aren't comfortable with me using their names on the internet, and that's totally fine. And so she was 21 when she had my youngest nephew. And during her pregnancy with my youngest nephew, she was really, really doing good, you guys. She was working at McDonald's. She was trying to get it together. She was really, really trying. Like, she was on the straight and narrow, and we were all so proud of her. But the pride she had in herself was amazing to see, you guys. Like, she was like, I can do good. Like, I'm doing good. I'm working. Like, I'm about to have this baby. And just really trying. And she actually, it kind of went all south because she fell at her job at McDonald's. And she was hurt and had to miss some work. And you guys know when it's really crummy, when they take you off the schedule slowly, very slowly, and you're like, where are my hours? What's going on? And that really hurt her, and she could have filed a lawsuit against them but decided not to. So that was kind of like the fallback. And she had my nephew and got a little apartment, which was a really big deal, you guys. Like, she got her own little place. She was doing really good. She was trying. Even after the McDonald's slip up, no pun intended, she was actually trying. And it was, you know, and the turning point on that was she met a guy. So she met a real POS that was into crystal, and I think you guys can fill in the blank with that. And she had dabbled in stuff before when she was pregnant and in her previous marriage, but with this guy it was a very abusive relationship, and you know, he was into certain stuff, using, and it was just like the catalyst for everything. And it went, her life did a complete 180 after that. She started using, slowly lost her apartment, lost custody of her son. It was a crazy time, and we all felt that dark cloud coming in. We're like, Jessie, like, you can do good. Please don't. You know, like, it's so sad when you see a woman persevering and then a negative guy comes into their life and everything changes, and it just gets so, everything just got so turned around for her, and it was really sad. Like, the kind of scumbag you can see from a mile away. Like, it's not a good situation. And she's lost her son, like I said, lost her apartment, and she was kind of just turned out to the streets, you guys. Started using more and just running on the streets. And that was eventually her demise. So I'm going to get into her disappearance now. My sister went missing June 20th, 2016 from Wenatchee, Washington, in the town that we were born and raised in, both of us. So there is a witness statement saying they saw her get into a late 80s Buick with two Hispanic men June 23rd of 2016, but that he actually has come forward and recanted his statement. We don't know why, but all of a sudden now he's like, I didn't see that. So we'll just leave that there. So June 20th, 2016, which is also really interesting to note, that night was a full moon. I don't know if any of you are into full moons or any of that witchcraft, but I believe full moons affect people's behavior. They just, especially women, it's really interesting to know, I think. Health was really deteriorating towards the end. So the combination of her mental illnesses with the usage of blank is a deadly combination. So towards the end, she was saying a lot of like biblical shit. Like, I know if anyone has addicts in their life, they know if they're really far gone, they start like talking about Jesus and stuff, and I know people can relate to that, and I'll get into a story about that in a minute. But she thought she was pregnant with kittens. She was checking herself into hospitals, calling 911, like getting taken out in stretchers, you guys, calling my mom every day, and my mom actually has all the phone records to verify that. And it's interesting because 2 weeks before she went missing, she checked herself into the hospital, and she actually tested positive for Rufalin. And the nurse told my mom, I think she's being drugged beyond the normal usage of what the crystal she was using. Something else is going on, which is really heartbreaking, and I'll kind of get into that too. But so yeah, on the day she disappeared, she actually went to Catholic Family Services on June 20th and was talking to a counselor there. And the counselor called my mom and said, okay, she's in a manic state. And my mom's like, yeah, no shit, I know that. She needs to be institutionalized. So the counselor, from what I understand, he's like, yeah, like, I agree. And that was June 20th. So when you are institutionalized, there's a 7-day blackout period where you don't call anyone, you don't contact family or friends or anything like that. And so my mom had thought because she just heard silence from Jessie, like June 20th, after so much activity. My mom's like, okay, she was institutionalized, she'll call me the 27th of the month. And when my mom didn't hear anything, that's when stuff really got bad, because she realized she's gone, like, where is she? And as many people know, the first couple hours, the first 24 hours are the most crucial time in a missing persons case, and we didn't get that. And so my mom has gotten a lot of grief about that, but I mean, what do you do? It's nothing she should hold on to or feel bad about, because none of us knew. Okay? So around the 27th, 28th, my mom realized stuff was not right. She was like, I thought she was going to be institutionalized. What's going on? Obviously something bad has happened. And during that time, I think pretty soon after that, the video came out from the day of my sister's disappearance. This video is extremely hard to watch. I'm going to try to put it in this video. I'm new to the whole editing thing, so I don't know yet. We will see, or I'll link it below. Warning though, it's extremely hard to watch. She is being pretty much dehumanized in the video, being made fun of. The man who's recording the video is being extremely rude and harassing her. And you can tell she's mentally ill in the video, so I can't watch it. It's very hard for me to watch because I don't want to remember my sister in that memory. And in the video, it kind of gives us a lot of information though, which I guess is a positive thing on it, because she is in men's clothing, not in clothes she would wear on her own whatsoever. So it's almost as if she dressed in a hurry or someone dressed her. She doesn't have a bra on. She would always have a bunch of bags on her. I know a lot of people know if someone's bouncing around as an addict, they always have a bunch of bags on them. She didn't have any bags on her, and her head, the craziest part is her head is shaved in the video. So, and it's not no Amber Rose shave, you guys. It's a jagged, quick job, her buzz cut. I mean, it's crazy to see, and none of us saw her like that. My mom didn't see her like that. And so it shaved in her head is the initials or the letters SIC, which we to this day still don't know what that means. My mom has a lot of theories on it. And on the other side of her head, it's 13 lines going straight across her head. Which is, I mean, to see that video, it's very hard to watch, you guys. And she starts walking southbound on Wenatchee Avenue in the video, and I'll try to link it, but she starts walking away, and that is the last time anyone saw her. So yeah, if you guys want, my mom actually works on my sister's case full time. So my mom doesn't work. She literally has her community of people that help her in searching for my sister. So this video, I'm not going to get into theories on my sister's disappearance, but if you guys want me to get my mom on here and talk about everything, she'd be really willing, because she has all of her receipts on everything. Like, she doesn't mess around. And there's facts, stuff we know for sure, theories, and then there's stuff we can't talk about because it is still an open case in our books. I don't know about the police, and I'm not going to talk about the police on here because I want to clear everything with my mom, because we are having issues with them. I just want to talk really quick about the last day I saw my sister and the image I have in my head of her. So I was going over to my mom's house to have coffee with her, because that's kind of our thing, and I was heading over there. My mom calls me and she's like, Jessie got kicked out of detox for fighting with a girl, like she's gonna be here. And my initial feeling was annoyed. I was just annoyed. I said, oh, it was supposed to be us, like why does she have to be there, like just being a little brat pretty much. And I show up there and Jessie's there and she's like looking at me with, you know, kind of the crazy eyes, and she's like, you know you're an angel. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, you're an angel. I'm like, you're crazy, like leave me alone, blah 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 blah. And you know, kind of treated her that way, you know, and she was trying to be nice to me and, you know, talk to me, and I've held a lot obviously of regret for that, but I'm moving on. I have moved on. I'm trying to. And my mom says, oh, do you want to ride with us to drop her off at the detox center? And I said, okay, yeah. And so we drop her off and we're in the parking lot of the detox center, and she's in the back seat, and she puts her hand on my shoulder and she's like, I love you. And I was like, oh, I love you too. And she gets out of the car and looks back at me and smiles, and I smiled at her. And then she walked into the detox center, and I remember thinking to myself, like, wow, that was a really nice moment between us. And that was the last time I saw my sister. So that's kind of the memory I like to have in my head, that really sweet moment between us. And I don't feel like she knew she was gonna go missing or whatever, what have you, but women have a deep intuition, I think, and me and my mom do believe my sister was murdered on June 20th, and when I get her on here, we can talk about that if you guys would like. So I'm gonna end this video here. If you or anyone else has any information on what happened to my sister, I will leave the link in the description box. So it will be completely anonymous, but if anyone has any information regarding her disappearance, please call this number, contact someone, Wenatchee Police Department maybe, and we'll get into that. Until then, have a great day, you guys. Bye.
You all clean, Brittany?
Yes, yes, you are. Oh.
Come on. You're going to take care of her, Jessie?
Yes. Here you go.